Welcome to Film Riot Mondays. Today we're talking about a couple of different things, so let's jump right into it. First of all is APM music. I've talked about APM music a lot. We use it on the show all the time, and a lot of people have been asking me more about it recently, so I figured I would actually show their site, which you can see that right here. And this is the one that we use most often when it comes to Film Riot, just on a regular basis for sketches and things like that, because as you'll see, this one has the largest collection of music that I have personally been able to find. It's the priciest one for sure, but it is definitely the one where you're gonna find the widest variation of things. So right off the bat, right on their front page, you can see all the different types of things you can get into. You got epic scores right up front, some more indie type stuff, summer type stuff, but you could just click to play one and get sort of a preview going right away. And then down here, you could see some of their recent credits, and you could see that it's used on things like Spider-Man and Cars and The Big Sick and Glow. So this is definitely one that is deep-rooted inside of the actual Hollywood system, and one that's often being used for licensing music. In fact, if you look at a lot of credits, you often will see APM listed in the credits for licensing of certain tracks. But up here in the search terms, you could do something like fantasy action and come up with a wide variety of things to start shifting through. And that's one thing that I really love about APM is the search functions really dial down the sort of thing that you're looking for. And then you just go ahead and download it, and you can select how exactly you want to download this, how you're gonna be using it. And I'm not gonna go super in depth with it, but a few people were asking what this interface looks like, and that is what it looks like. I've become very accustomed to using this one. I'm very familiar with it. I find searching for things on here is very simple, and even if you don't have an account, you can jump in and look through their music. So definitely check it out, apmmusic.com. If you're doing any kind of a project, it is absolutely worth a look because they just have a little bit of absolutely everything. But moving on to something that I'm going to get into a little bit more next week is MZed has now launched MZed Pro, and I've talked about them for years now. They've put out some really good courses. If you go to their courses page, you can see some of the stuff that they put out. They have a new class from Philip Bloom. They put out stuff from Shane Hurlbut, Alex Buono, Vincent LaFerre. The editor from SNL did a whole class on cutting, which is really great, and all of it is really, really quality stuff. Masterclass and MZed are definitely my two favorite when it comes to this sort of thing, but now they have MZed Pro, which with this, it's a subscription. So the subscription is about $300 a year, but that, considering that each of these courses alone, if you just buy the course, is about $200 per course. So if you have the cash and you're looking for this type of educational material, definitely jump on this as soon as possible. But moving on, our last episode had a lot of those camera shake effects inspired by Logan, that whole effect of Charles losing control of his power and the world around you just starts to shake in an interesting way. And the way that the filmmakers pulled it off was the same way that we showed on the show. We were able to find an article and do all that, but we showed one at the end that I got from Guy Ritchie's Rock and Rolla, which is this sort of Snorri Cam type look, but it's not a Snorri Cam look. Some people mentioned that it's just Snorri Cam style, and it is of that style, but it definitely has a very different look than what you'd get from Snorri Cam. And a lot of people were asking for me to dive in deeper with that, so I figured we'd go through it one more time, since I think I might have covered it a bit too quickly. For shooting this actual shot, we just shot Justin running. We were filming out of the back of a car and shot Justin running through the street. That's pretty much it. We tried not to shake the camera and just filmed Justin. That way later, I can grab this shot, bring it into a composition. Then I'm just gonna go to my tracker, select stabilize motion, and I'm gonna select something on his face. Now we've got some motion blur here, which I wanted for this shot because it gives that extra weirdness, because Justin, although staying centered in frame, is getting that weird motion blur happening that feels like it shouldn't be happening since he's not moving about. Feels like the world should be getting the motion blur, but he's getting a lot of it, and I really like that look. So the track can be a bit tricky depending on how much motion blur you have, but we select a point, which I'll select his nose, and then I'll click track forward and see how it does. And it's actually doing a really great job. So the track is done and actually had no issues, so there's nothing for me to go back and correct. But if yours has issues, you'll just go frame by frame, find where it has the issue, and adjust your track before applying it. But now I'll go ahead and apply it, just the position, and I'm gonna apply it to the actual clip itself. select OK, and now we have a stabilized shot. Of course, you can see the edges because we haven't put this into our 1080 project just yet, but you can already see the effect happening. So now I will start a 1920 by 1080 project, and I will bring that other comp, that 4K comp, into this project. And you can already see that it's very zoomed in because we have 4K inside of a regular HD project. And now I'm going to go ahead and scale that down as much as I can, probably around there, center Justin, and there you go. It's an incredibly simple effect to pull off, and you can do it a lot more extreme than what we did here, depending on what the surroundings are, depending on how much that person is bobbing around. If you get much closer, maybe a longer lens, you're going to get a lot more motion happening, possibly. So there's different things that you could test out to make this more extreme, more pronounced, but I really like how subtle this is. His head is just staying dead center while everything else is sort of bobbing how it feels like it should. It's just a really weird effect that's incredibly easy to pull off. So hopefully that dialed it in a bit more for you and made it a lot more understandable. And as you can see, it's just incredibly simple. There's nothing more discouraging than having a pile of overdue paperwork just sitting there staring at you while you try to work or do anything you enjoy at all. Well, over at FreshBooks, you have this cloud accounting software that will give you more time to do the work that you love and not feel discouraged by the paperwork demon. FreshBooks has been redesigned from the ground up and custom built for the way that you work. It's the easiest way to be more productive, organized, and most importantly, get paid quickly. The all-new FreshBooks is not only ridiculously easy to use, it's also packed full of powerful features. You can create and send professional-looking invoices in less than 30 seconds, set up online payments with just a couple of clicks, and get paid up to 4 days faster. You'll be able to see when the client has seen your invoice and put an end to the guessing games. And right now you can get a 30-day unrestricted free trial by going to freshbooks.com/FilmRiot and entering Film Riot in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Logo. So that's it for today, which means it's time to talk about what I'm watching. And right now, yes, I'm a little bit late to the game, but I am binge watching Black Mirror. I have seen a few episodes before, but I never watched the whole series from front to back, so I'm doing that now. And it is really well done. Great storytelling, really interesting themes and ideas told in a very Twilight Zone, Outer Limits sort of way, but in a very modern take on that sort of idea. So definitely check that out. Sometimes disturbing, always interesting, and you can watch it on Netflix right now. But that's it. Until next week, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.